back. You're watching Startup Central with me, Nayanyata. Today is International Women's Day. Every day should be Women's Day, but till that journey continues, we at Startup Central decided let's also celebrate women that you very often don't hear about. Very often, they're the ones that are responsible for the clothing that you and I might be wearing at the moment. Yes, we wanted to go down to the grassroots as well, and here we've got a special segment for you today. Joining us is Archana Vora, the Director for Small and Medium Businesses at Facebook India, Kirti Punya, the Head of Okhai, and Pallavi, the CEO and Founder at Karagiri.com. Thank you, ladies, for being a part of today's edition of Startup Central. We decided to get the three of you because the three of you are also working with women down the value chain when it comes to money at the grassroots. Archana, your role, of course, at Facebook being to empower such women, hoping technology can truly be a leveler. Has that indeed been the case, Archana?
Wow, happy Women's Day to start off with to everybody. And I hope we continue to appreciate women like on all other days and not just on Women's Day. But back to the point. I'm going to take a step back, right? So how does Facebook Family of Apps work in India? Facebook Family of Apps in India, specifically Facebook, reaches out to nearly 400 million people in different ways. And then businesses use Facebook and the Facebook Family of Apps in order to make sure that they can drive both ROAS, or return on advertising services, or just ROI on their platform. Through the year, I think since March, we've been very acutely invested in a couple of things. We've invested in skilling for businesses. We've invested in training for businesses. You're aware, early last year, actually towards the fag end of last year, we also launched loans for SMBs in India. It was a 4.3 million grant that went out to nearly 3,000 plus SMBs. I think our journey has been very consistent. We are saying wherever you are in the funnel, we will enable you. And the success stories don't need me to talk about, right? You have Kirti here and Pallavi here who will tell you how their businesses have really grown over the last year or so. But the bridge is still to go, right? There are still many women. And if I go by the SMB survey, which is the SMB State of the Business survey that we do, while we know that 51% of the businesses say they get a quarter of their advertising-led sales via platforms like Facebook, there is another very large set which says that a lot of the women may literally go out of the business for the reason that they are investing more time in domestic chores. So I think it's a balance on either side, but happy to see the progress.
Awesome. So you've thrown the ball in Pallavi's and Kirti's court. So let's go to them. Kirti, welcome to Startup Central. Tell us how you are working with women weavers, how you're working with women at the grassroots. You're hoping technology is going to be a leveler so that their products can also be bought by women in urban India.
Sure. Hi, Nayanyata. Firstly, so honored to be on the show. And so proud to be able to share this story of almost 24,000 women that I'm representing today. 5 years ago, we were just about 350 women. At the start of COVID, we were about 2,300 women. And now we are 24,000. So how has this happened? This is really a testament of how women can come together to solve a problem. Most of our peers, organizations similar to Okhai, who were supplying to physical retail, all of their orders had been cancelled up until November. And they were all thinking of going online, building a Facebook page, a website. At the time, a lot of these WhatsApp groups of women leaders who were running such initiatives came into being. And we realized that Okhai was one such platform which already had 50,000 customers. We decided to share our platform with all of these brands that in another world we would have thought of as competitors. And they willingly came and shared their products on Okhai. Every single week we used to launch a brand, and now we launch a brand every single day. We've become a marketplace from a product company. All the artisans who work at Okhai have been the breadwinners of their homes during COVID because their husbands were either working in construction or driving a bus or as a cook in a restaurant. Most of the men lost their jobs, but the women of Okhai did not. a lot of these women were
Right.
also entrepreneurs who started their businesses because Okhai was onboarding them. We taught them on video calls how to take pictures, how to make Excel sheets, and they uploaded their products. And a lot of them individually have been able to do revenues of over 20 lakhs each.
Wow, that's quite a story to tell. And if I could come to you, Pallavi, I'm sure you have similar tales as well. You know, like the lockdown was hard on everybody.
Yes, Nayantara. First of all, thank you so much for having me on the show today, and happy Women's Day to all the amazing women out there. My story has been really incredible. I started Karagiri because I was inspired from my grandfather. He was a weaver. I belong to a family of weavers, and he used to weave beautiful kosa silk sarees. So I wanted to help this community, earn wages for their own families, and that's how Karagiri was started. So when actually COVID happened, the worst nightmare was how we are going to support the family of 1,500 weavers we had back then. So as soon as the first lockdown was declared, we all our designers started designing the Diwali collection directly because we knew that the COVID was not going to go anytime soon. And all our weavers, around 1,500 families, that means around 5,000 of them, were working during the lockdown. We were paying them during the lockdown, and that was the most, feeling of gratitude because we could put food on their table. So this family of weavers has been growing continuously. Currently, we have 1,800 families working with us. There are weavers who joined us with 15 looms, and currently they have more than 100 looms, and they're also employing their friends and daughters of their friends and getting them, economically independent. So I think this has been, so COVID has been actually a boon for us, and we made good use of that opportunity.
Absolutely. COVID-19, while it set us all back, has also given a lot of opportunities. For example, with technology, with women having no choice also but to come to the front and actually support the men and the rest of the family. Many of them became the sole bread earners as well. I think that is exactly what both Kirti and Pallavi are trying to tell us. Archana, if I can now come to you. I understand the Facebook story. This is not my first interview with you. We've had you often on Startup Central. But one point I wanted to discuss with you as well, which is that, Facebook has spoken about this very often as well, about how it wants to empower women in business. You did that, for example, why Facebook also invested in Meesho. But I want to ask you, as you know, you talked about loans, etc. Have you noticed any trend on how the women that you work with are different? The reason I ask you this is because I had Union Minister Smriti Irani on the show, and she talked about how if you look at the data, the analysis of the Mudra loan data, the women don't form the NPAs.
Yeah, sure. So let me break the question in two parts. Are women journeys on Facebook marketplaces or Facebook family of apps any different than men? No, it is a standard page creation, and then you go out to generate your business. However, is the learning different? Could be, because a lot of access for devices in India is not really for women. So if you even look at globally the numbers, women have 14% lesser access to mobile than men do, and therefore their default vehicle of business access is neither a mobile nor the internet. But if I were to flip that on its head, and if I take a window, say from November 20th to now, nearly 20% of the Instagram business profiles that have been created on the platform have been created by women. In 2020 alone, partnering with CSC Academy, we have, enabled upwards of 2.5 lakh rural entrepreneurs. So I think the journey is very simple. If you break it down to say what is needed is a host of things. So I agree with what you said. The journey can be different because you need learning, you need technological assistance, you need ability to understand how to run a business in the first place. How do you make like a profit statement? How do you know what your margins are? But my sense there is in the last 1 year, there's been considerable progress there. And we hope that as we keep going on this journey with businesses like Pallavi and businesses like Kirti's, which is Okhai and Karagiri, I think we will get there. This is a start.
Kirti, if I can now come to you, you told us this heartwarming story of what 2020 was like, how you're representing more than 24,000 women when you come today on Startup Central, how Okhai is launching literally one brand every day. Now tell us the impact of that. Are you seeing these women weavers, the women workers becoming more empowered? Basically, I'm trying to ask you that, do they understand the responsibility and the impact that they're having?
I'll share a story with you. At the start of COVID, everyone was raising relief funds for food for artisans because everyone was expecting that, they're not even going to have money to buy food. So I called one of our leading artisans, Rami Ben. She's, she manages all of our inventory and also manages all the artisans. So I called her and I said that, can you check in the village if this is a problem? Should we also be raising relief funds? And she came back to me in the evening and she said, "Hame koi zarurat nahi hai relief funding ki, hamare paas apni Okhai ki savings hai." And that moment I felt that the collective savings of these women for over these years that they've been working with Okhai have come to their rescue. Having said that, work did not stop the whole year, which means production was on in the villages, and where COVID was also not impacting, the numbers were not that large, and hence they could work. So they didn't have to dig into their savings as well. If you see on a confidence level, these women are stars of their village. They took a flight to Bombay last year for a pop-up. And I think there were about 10 of them in the flight for the first time. And they are heroes after that for their village. They're called for every single inauguration of a new temple in the village. Any decision that is made in the village is actually done after consulting them. And that is true empowerment. And last story that is really close to my heart is that I used to see that both son and daughter used to go to school, but only the sons used to go for evening tuitions. Now that our artisans who are women are making the money, she's making sure that the daughter also goes for evening tuitions.
Pallavi, share with us some of these kind of stories as well.
Absolutely. So we have had some similar stories. So one of our weaver's daughter, she lost her father a year ago because of cancer, and she's just in 10th standard. So the whole responsibility of the family was on her shoulders. So she took up the business. She was actually managing the studies as well, and she was selling the saris as well. So we, shot these kind of short stories and aired these stories on Insta Live during lockdown, and people really loved it because they really like to know, where the saris that they buy from Karagiri, where these saris actually come from, who are the makers of these saris. So these kind of stories actually helped us sail through the lockdown. We created a lot of good content, and this actually boosted their confidence level as well. So they already had a good product. They had the mastery in their own art. They just did not have the right platform to market their product to, and that's where Karagiri came into the picture. And we now help them sell all their saris, not only to domestic but as well as to international audience as well. So this has been very empowering for them.
Nayantara, if I may add one more very important story. There's one artisan who was in a domestic abuse marriage, and her husband used to beat her. And she started earning at Okhai, and she started coming, and her income started to be recognized at home. And this same husband, after all these years of her earning, has completely changed. He now makes her tiffin in the morning, and he packs her food, and he comes to drop her to the center. So that is the power of a woman making money. Often there is poverty, and that is why people are being bad to each other in a home, and income can solve that.
Oh, absolutely. That's really so heartwarming. I mean, for a second, I didn't even know how to come out from that story or what to say in response. And it's amazing what you guys are sharing. And Archana, the next question I want to ask you is that when these kind of on-ground changes are taking place, where a man who used to beat up his wife is now packing her tiffin because she's the one who's basically earning the money. Isn't that a big opportunity also for the likes of Facebook to go out there now that they're earning income to try and at least get into some kind of financial literacy? You have a powerful tool, for example, let's say WhatsApp, to help in that.
Well, thank you for that question. First, the stories are amazingly inspirational, made my day completely. And if it's Women's Day, made it even more. Just to answer your question, definitely, right? I think it isn't, the victory isn't in parts. It's not about saying, hey, can we do only financial inclusion, or can we do only skilling, or can we do only, say, teaching them how to build a catalog? I think it's the journey end to end, which is why we call it full funnel. And so everything from awareness to consideration to actually getting a purchase is a journey that Facebook family of apps can enable businesses to do. And we will do what it takes to make that happen, right? So, for example, if it's a Boost program, which is for people who just created a page but have never used the platform, or if it is for our VC brand incubator program, which are young invested brands, but they don't know how to utilize their marketing for the best results, or it is our grants program, which is handing out grants to businesses. I think we will take all of the measures that are needed, but stories like this will continue to make our day, right? Like Kirti, when she was talking about it, I was feeling proud. I know I'm like a distance away, but it gives me a feeling that at least as a woman, I can say it isn't that window where I have to say I'm not ready yet. I'm ready to go, right? Just give me the right opportunity. And whether it is this woman at home who came out of domestic abuse or any other story, we are so proud to be part of these stories. And even if like it's a 0.1% role we can play, very grateful to have customers like these who are taking these journeys.
Absolutely. Kirti, can you tell us a little bit about Okhai in the sense that do you work only with women artisans? I know it's International Women's Day and we should be talking primarily about women, but poverty is such a big problem that we have right now. I mean, we've had forever. And you're going to need behavioral change as well for things to really go up. So can you tell us a little bit about Okhai and how it works with the artisans?
Okay. So initially in the first few years, it was only women artisans. In fact, up until last year, it was only women artisans. But this year, when a lot of male weavers reached out to us that their saris were not selling, we did not have the heart to say no. And we felt a sense of responsibility that now that we were a women empowerment organization, we had the responsibility to empower them too in whatever way we can. So now we do have men. Okhai works in two ways. Artisans who are entrepreneurs on their own, which means they have a product, they know how to price it, they have an inventory, and they just simply want to sell it online as their own brand. So they come and sell it on the Okhai website, and we help them do the customer care, shipping from the remotest villages. So the parcels are being picked directly from a very remote village in Bihar and being taken to a customer in Bombay or even New York. The second way is when the artisan is not that entrepreneurial and would want to just accept some work from you. So in that case, we provide them the design, the raw material, and we have auto rickshaws that go through the villages that pick and drop raw materials. And when the production is over, we do a quality check-in and pick up all the goods back again. So those are the two models that we work in.
Pallavi, if I can come to you, you started this because of your grandfather. You're living his dream. You've been inspired by him. Tell us a little bit about the kind of work that you're doing, how many artisans that you're working with, what your eventual dream is.
So currently we have 1,800 weaver families that are associated with us. So we have all the people in the family working on say 2 to 3 looms and creating saris for us. So we give them designs, we give them raw materials, and we get the saris made. So basically we are into loom adoption model. So everybody knows that handloom industry is dying right now because there is no monetary enough compensation for the weavers to be in this business. So weavers say that the security guard actually makes better money than us, and that's why they were actually moving away from handlooms and getting all these kind of jobs. So we started adopting their looms, wherein we pay them, we give them the raw material, and then we actually take the stock back from them. So this is how we are kind of expanding across India. Right now, we are present almost in 20 states, and we want to take this 1,800 families to around 10,000 families by end of next year. So this is what we're planning on right now.
Ladies, all I can say is keep up the good work. You guys are doing amazing work, making a difference. I look forward to many more interviews with you. Please keep sharing all these stories of the impact that you're seeing on ground. It's the stuff that everybody wants to hear about. You just can't make enough noise. We have enough gloom and doom all the time. Please share these kinds of stories a lot more. It's been an absolute pleasure interviewing all three of you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.